Hi sisters, my name is Anthony Haley and this is my CapStone Project. You see this building? Yeah, this building right here. Just look at those walls. Very marvelous, very beautiful. Yes, I know, this building is called the Firestone Center. So if you guys don't mind right now, I'm going to give you a quick history lesson of the Firestone Center. So, Flint was once home to 12 Catholic parishes, dating back to the establishment of St. Michael in 1834 by the Irish immigrant community. That number has since been halved, but a unique approach to ministry called Faith in Flint is banding the community together to provide hope for the future. Father Tom Firestone, a priest in the Lansing Diocese, is a leader and visionary of Faith in Flint, created in 2015 in collaboration with Bishop Earl Boyer. Firestone, a pastor of the Four Church Catholic community in Flint, saw a need to bring the city together, empower people of faith, and rebuild the infrastructure of Catholic outreach. So you guys just might be quaking in your boots right now thinking, Anthony, what does this even have to do with the Firestone Center? You mentioned Father Firestone, but you haven't mentioned much of the Firestone Center. All you mentioned is this thing called Faith in Flint. What does that even have to do with it? So Faith in Flint developed. The initiative brought together several ministries to serve the community and create systematic change. These include the Catholic community of Flint, St. Luke's New Life Center, Dorothy's House of Coffee, the St. Francis Prayer Center, and, lo and behold, the Firestone Center. Okay, so it seems you guys want to actually know what the Firestone Center is, because as of now, you guys don't know much. You only know that it's a building named after a man who is still alive, which is weird because he's not dead yet. And usually buildings are named after dead people, but other than that, the Firestone Center is actually a place where you can welcome guests for volunteer. It was actually a former rectory, which is converted into a lodging center. It has a lot to offer. It gives volunteer opportunities and connection to local Flint leaders. Now, a big example of this is the church St. Mary's in Ann Arbor, Michigan, basically has a thing called Alternative Spring Break, and it allows undergraduate students of the University of Michigan to basically go do a service project in Flint, and it'd be housed at the Firestone Center. Basically, what I did here is I was given an opportunity to actually cater for these kids, or basically make their meals. So basically what I would do is I would have to go shopping all by myself with their money and basically make their own meals. I'd make their breakfasts at 6 a.m. and I'd have to pre-pack their lunches because they'd be out doing service and they'd just be a sack lunch. The biggest problem with this, I'd say personally, is that I had to get up at around 5 a.m. and I had to go shopping at Walmart for the ingredients I'd use to make the breakfasts, and then I had to work until 2:30, and it was very conflating with my schedule because I had things like Camp the Champions at 3 and then I had practice at 5, so the day was definitely very stressful, but I think it was definitely worth it for the capstone because it definitely gave me a different perspective on what it means to truly serve. So looking at the goals of what they were trying to accomplish, we can see that Faith in Flint's goal was to give an outlet for kids to see what Flint's like, the good and the bad. Father Firestone and Bishop Boyer's goal was basically to make a full-service social justice center, and it hosts groups of volunteers in the city of Flint, and it can connect them to meaningful service opportunities during their stay. So when volunteering at a place like this, there's a bunch of things that you can do to help out there. One of the things that I did is I cooked for them, of course, and then some other things that you could do is you could just help clean up around the house, or you can help with the group that's coming in. You could make their beds, you could clean their clothes, you could maybe just clean the house a bit, whatever needs to be done. Okay, so the Catholic social teaching theme that I decided to go with is surprise, surprise, solidarity. I know a bunch of people have already chose this, but it works, that's why. Solidarity, by definition, is the extent to which people in a society work together to define and achieve a common goal. It is manifested through different things like national and local government, and it's basically the formation of voluntary organizations and labor unions and other forms of citizen participation in civic life. Social solidarity means which collective action can overcome problems. Participation and accountability at all levels is necessary, not only to achieve solidarity, but also to assure that it is maintained over time. Dear young people of every language and culture, a high and exhilarating task awaits you, that of becoming men and women capable of solidarity, peace and the love of life, with respect for everyone. Become craftsmen of a new humanity, where brothers and sisters, members of all the same family, are able to last, to live in peace. Now, the saint that I have chosen in order to define solidarity for me is St. Francis of Assisi. St. Francis of Assisi to me is someone who really defined selflessness and deciding to give up their life for God. So later in life, Francis reportedly received a vision that left him with the stigmata of God Christ, resembling the wounds that Jesus Christ suffered when he was crucified, making Francis the first person to receive such holy wounds. He was canonized as a saint on July 16, 1228. During his life, he also developed a deep love for nature and animals, and is known as the patron saint of the environment and animals. His life and work had given him the lasting resonance with millions of followers across the globe. So basically, like, a lot of people attribute him to the environment and animals, but I really attribute him to being very selfless and just giving solidarity to the community. He really brought back the sense of we need to bring back the selflessness of Jesus Christ when he humbled himself and died on the cross. We need to really humble ourselves that way and just bring ourselves back to God in that sort of way. A lot of people do really forget that God died on a cross. Like, that is really insane. Okay, so the first Bible verse that I have that relates to things like solidarity and the service project I did is 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 24. And the quote is, "No one should seek their own good, but the good of others." And I think this is very important because it really shows just the selflessness in general of what you need to do. You know, have some humility for yourself. Don't let ego kill you. Okay, and the next Bible quote I have is from Galatians chapter 5, verse 14. And it says, "For the entire law is fulfilled in keeping this one command, love your neighbor as yourself." And this is just really important because I think it puts on the golden rule as the one and only rule that kind of matters. I mean, it literally says in the text that it based every law depends on this one commandment, which I think is very important. You know, I think we should always keep that in mind when dealing with things like society and how we treat people as humans. And the final quote that I have is from Philippians chapter 2, verse 3, and it says, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, rather in humility value others above yourselves." And I'm a very firm believer that selfishness can really just rot the soul of any sort of innocence. You know, if you put yourself above another, you start judging others, then it really starts to show outwardly in how you treat others and how you just look down on them. I think doing something like service or just taking in the teachings of Jesus Christ and how he treated others is healing for the soul. And I truly think that something like that can really just change a person in many different ways that can really inspire other people to do the same. Okay, so I think what we should do for the proposal is very simple. So if you actually look on the maps and if you actually go to the Firestone Center, you will actually notice that Catholic Charities is literally right across the street from it. So I think for a proposal, what we could do is we could do a collaboration. You know, if a lot of companies are looking to boost sales, they would collaborate with another company that wants to boost their sales, and they will actually collaborate on something together. I think we could really do something like this where it turns out that we get a Catholic charity, people volunteer for the Firestone Center, help these kids get their food in. We could have some volunteers that come from places like the Whaley Center or the Whaley House, and we could have them come in and we could have them help volunteer and do their service. And I think that'd be a really cool collaboration, honest to God. I think we could really make it work out. And you know, we could also have just volunteers from schools come in and do this for a service project. I think this would be really cool if we implemented it, like a service day in which we had kids go to the Firestone Center and just help clean up, you know, whether it's outside in the yard, raking or mowing the lawn or just making the rectory look a bit nice. You know, I also think it'd be cool if we raise some donations in order to, you know, modernize the rectory, because like the inside of the rectory, like it looks nice, but it's not the most modern looking. So I think we could really just bring it to the next level. We could really bring it through the surface with the interior. So we could bring in more kids from other places that they would want to come in more and all that. And I think that'd be really interesting. So yep, that is my proposal. Thank you. Alright boys, and that's the end of the video. If you could just smash that like button, you know, smash the subscribe button, and we can get this done.